Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto Live. It is August 25th in the year of 2022, and you guys are in for a treat. Kind of a boring day in crypto, but guess what? That is okay, because we're still here. No matter rain, shine, boring, exciting, up, down, this crew will always be here to walk through it with you guys. So make sure, before we even get going, we got 63 people in chat. That number is going to grow here. Smash that like button. And comment in that chat. Let me know how you guys are doing. We got some news coming out of Samsung and Coinbase this morning, as well as a very special treat because we got Kellam on the show today. Gonna break down on-chain metrics, look at some charts, because even though the day is boring, the boring days are the best days to prepare for when things start getting exciting again. Whether we go to the top, to the upside, or to the downside, you want to be prepared. So stay tuned for the entire show. I'm really excited about it. I'm loving this new set. I love the new bright colors for your guys' mornings. I know it's not morning for everybody who's watching the show, but for us, it definitely is. And we listened to the complaints from yesterday. The red is gone, so I'm going to bring on Tshroom. Tshroom, how you feeling this morning? And thank you for us getting a different background that doesn't kill our eyeballs.
I'm feeling good. Yes, enjoy my background, but also enjoy. It's probably the last day I'm going to have the HODL trophy for at least this week, but I'm going to try to get it next week. But I didn't get to celebrate that last Friday because I was on vacation. But I'm feeling good, feeling great. And I'm really liking this new background, and I hope you are, too, out there in the world.
But guys, don't fret. That's not his final background. We're actually going to do something really ambitious.
I'm actually going to have a different background every single episode for the rest of Coffee and Crypto. Just kidding. But, feeling good.
You know, I have a feeling, Tshroom, that HODL trophy is going to be sitting over here.
Ooh, we'll see.
Tomorrow.
We shall see.
We're also joined, as you heard just a second ago, by Smay, our technical director. Smay, how are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling quite peachy. I'm feeling pretty good. I hope you guys noticed the little graphics I added. I think they're really neat, and I really enjoy them. But you know what else I think is really neat? My mustard wall.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Not my mustard
Makes
wall.
me hungry for a hot dog.
Green names. It's a little bit different on the color spectrum, but green and yellow, similar. And I really get excited about green names, so maybe that's why I'm a little bit excited about this mustard wall.
Real quick, though, I want to know, people in chat, I saw this comment yesterday in one of the Discords that we have. I think it was Jeffrey Fritz, a.k.a. Crypto Sec Guy, said that it looks like Smay works in a mustard factory. And let me know what you guys think about his background.
And I wanted to reveal that is, in fact, where I am. I'm actually zooming in right now. I am working at Heinz now. So that's me. That's my new life. So this is going to be my last show. But anyways, time to read some green names here. We got Elliot Locke. We got Freedom Advocate. We got Thomas Post. We got JoJo. We got Elliot Locke. We got JoJo. We got Grand Roofing Incorporated. We got a Mellow Fellow. Who else we got here? We got Tyler Main. We got Gia S. We got Crypto JMP. We got Michael Payne. Who else we got here? Go CJC. And Kevin Grims and so many more. Oh, we have Just Ray and so many more of you beautiful. Veronica Gainey. I love all you guys. Back to you, Tim.
Love our green names. Guys, we would not be here without all of you, so thank you so much, everyone in chat. Even if you don't have a green name, we love you being here. We love seeing your names in chat, and we will try to get to some of that a little bit later on in the show. But before I throw it over to Tshroom for our market pulse, the other reason we're here with you guys is because of the sponsors that we have, and they are all phenomenal sponsors. But I'm going to throw it back over to Smay and let you guys know what the sponsor of today's stream is.
Oh, you want to know what today's sponsors are, do you?
Yes.
That's the point, yes.
All right, well, I'll tell you guys. Taxes. Let's just take a moment to experience the pain and frustration that is taxes. Now you're in that feeling? Yeah, that's how bad taxes are, especially when you don't have a CPA. And now you're wondering, well, I'm in crypto. I had a CPA. He got me a lot of money, but now I'm in crypto and he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, guys, we have a CPA here at the channel called Anthony Price, and Anthony Price knows crypto. So guys, if you're getting into all crypto trading and the taxes are a nightmare, go in the link to the description, sign up for a free 15 to 20 minute consultation, and he's going to help you figure out and navigate those crypto taxes that can be a big pain. But without further ado, back to you, Tim.
Yeah, you heard him, guys. Go look on that right now, guys. Because, guys, you're going to love it.
I'm going to own my words.
I know. I'm embracing them with you,
No,
Smay.
well, it's my word. Yours is But at the end of the day,
it's true. At the end of the day, anyway, we're gonna keep going on. By the way, shout out to Cryptos Are Us, aka George in chat. Welcome. So glad to see your name there. I'm working right now. We're gonna get George on the show again very soon. But there's other stuff. I'm not gonna spill the beans on it because we're actually working on some stuff with Cryptos Are Us behind the scenes right now that we will announce later. So super excited. So shout out to George and his entire team. He was talking about the new colors. He loves new colors. I agree, George. They are fantastic.
It's about to get better today, actually.
It's about to get special. There's tomorrow, you guys are going to see some cool stuff on these walls behind me, and maybe some stuff behind
in the afternoon stream today.
Yeah.
Would you want to announce that, by the way?
We'll talk about that later on in the show. Okay. I'm about to throw it over to Tshroom for our market pulse, but real quick, we got 350 people watching right now, but only 85 likes. Smash that like button. Let's get that up closer to 385, and then we'll throw it to market pulse. So, Tshroom, take it away.
All right. Well, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you are in the market pulse, baby. So let's go ahead and dive right on into it. First, we're going to start off, as always, with the Fear and Greed Index, which is the same as yesterday. So no change here. But if you were listening to my forecast, we have become slightly more fearful since the last week and since the beginning of this week, which means you should be more than likely, if you're going with the current wisdom on this, you should probably be buying more than you're selling. You want to buy fear and sell greed with a very big grain of salt there, because there's a lot of contemplation that you'll need to do for yourself, considering your own investments and everything. But generally, you want to buy fear and sell greed. Moving on to the federal fund rate CME prediction tool. That decision will be on September 21st, that federal fund rate decision, and it will be more than likely, the CME is predicting that it's going to be 75 basis points, and that certainty has only grown over the course of this week, with 75 basis points clocking in at 62% likelihood and 38% likelihood of a 50 basis point hike. If you don't know what this is, we're going to go ahead and tell you a little bit. So basically, this is the extent to which money is valuable. Money is how much money costs, rather, should be said in that way. So money will cost more in the future with every basis point hike, and 75 is more than 50. So it will be that much more expensive in the future to borrow. And if you can't borrow, then you're less likely to invest in higher risk assets, which is why we're talking about it on a crypto YouTube channel, because like it or not, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and Binance and XRP and Solana, these are all high risk assets according to Wall Street. And so if you have to pay more to borrow money, you're going to be less likely to invest in those names. You'd be more likely to invest in Duke Energy or ExxonMobil or Microsoft or something with a lot more history that is considered lower risk. So that's that. Moving on, we have some interesting stories to cover. But before we do that, we want to cover the GDP print, which came out today. It was actually a revision from the original Q2 print, and that came out at -0.9, and today's revision came out at -0.6. So a slightly favorable outcome, moving the US GDP Q over Q closer to zero, into positive territory, closer to positive territory, I should say. It's still in negative territory, but this is a favorable adjustment there, a favorable revision of GDP. Taking a look at the chart there, you can see this is where the pandemic kind of sent everything in a spiral. We had super low GDP, and then all of a sudden we had crazy high GDP. Things tend to stabilize, and now they're kind of stabilizing. But now with the recession looming, and the recession really technically, going by traditional standards, we are just slightly closer to getting out of that recession from a GDP standpoint. Take that for what you will. A favorable print that hopefully we'll be talking about a little bit more with Kellam on down the road of this stream. Samsung set to launch crypto exchange in South Korea in 2023. Very, very big news here. Very exciting. Samsung is planning to launch its own crypto exchange in South Korea as early as next year, according to the South Korean news agency. That's all I'm going to say about that one. It was, kind of just the news, and then it got into all these really crunchy details about the Korean legal structure and the Securities and Exchange Commission of Korea and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to skip over that, and you can enjoy the optimism of that headline. Samsung going to be doing some big stuff for crypto next year. Hopefully they're not going to over-centralize what they're trying to do and have some kind of negative effect on what the crypto project is as a whole. But moving on, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong makes a big crypto prediction as BlackRock and Meta enter the space. And I'm going to read a decent amount on this story because Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, had quite a bit to say. We want every company in the world to integrate into crypto, just like saying we want every company to have an internet presence or to use the internet in some way. Even if they're not an internet company, they're going to have a homepage or maybe get new computers through the internet or accept payments. Sorry, they're maybe going to get new customers through the internet or accept payments. Crypto is the same way. I think big tech is going to have a role to play here. We're seeing companies like BlackRock, the largest asset manager out there, has now integrated with Coinbase. Meta was another great example, right? So kind of comparing crypto to the web.com phenomenon that's kind of gone on there. And no huge surprise, but then he makes some comments on the market. When it comes to the crypto winter, obviously, we're in a bit of a down cycle, but it's not unusual for us. We've been through 4 cycles like this as a company, and we're only 10 years old, speaking of Coinbase there. This one just happens to coincide with a broader macro environment coming down. We all hope it'll be 12 to 18 months and then a nice recovery. But you obviously have to plan for it being longer than that. We don't try to get too cute about predicting the future. So some pretty wise words there from the Coinbase CEO, and that's all we'll say about that one.
You know,
Tim, did you have any thoughts on that?
Before we keep going, I think that something's really interesting is to know and just kind of make sure we're looking at everything happening right now, because while there is a whole heck of a lot of adoption and a lot of these large companies like BlackRock, and that's a whole can of worms itself because of who BlackRock is historically.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to focus on for the second that is a very large company with a lot of power, a lot of control that is saying, I want in on this crypto space. Well, what's also happening right now? A bunch of scams are still coming out in the light. We have a bunch of rug pulls still happening. A lot of people still losing money. Some people all over the world still view crypto as an extremely dangerous place to be because it's very risky, and that is actually factual. It is still a risky place. There's ways to protect yourself, but crypto is a risky place to be. That is not stopping these large companies and firms and investing portfolios from jumping into crypto. And I think there's something special about this bear market and the next bull market because, yes, there have been small elements of institutional adoption in the past. Obviously, the last bull market we had starting in 2020 at the end of it and then rallying in the beginning of 2021, I think the big news there was that Tesla was involved. But, as large as Tesla is, that's not anything just by itself to say that's massive. What we are seeing come into the crypto space during this bear market, the opportunity that these companies are pouncing on right now, with us being at the $20,000 level, a little bit below, a little bit above, hovering around 20,000, I think that this next bull market is gonna be special because this is the opportunity where, yes, a lot of scams are coming out and a lot of opportunities are coming, but security is coming to space. The big companies, the big money, that trillions of dollars that Kevin O'Leary talks about all the time sitting on the sideline, I think this is the bull market. It comes out and it's gonna be popping. I'm not gonna give a number. I'm not gonna say 120,000 or 500,000 or 1 million. I don't know where we will top out, and that's kind of the point. We don't know where we're gonna top out because this could be a super special bull market we come into within the next year or two.
Absolutely. Well, staying on the subject of Coinbase, they are really kind of going on the offense here as they've been under fire from the SEC and had some storm clouds hanging over their brand. They're continuing their positive momentum here, at least in our market pulse. So Coinbase announces CB ETH, wrapped Ethereum staking token. So CB, presumably standing for Coinbase there, but is going to have some interesting implications. Coinbase wrapped staked ETH, CB ETH, is a utility token that represents ETH2, which is ETH staked through Coinbase. The company tweeted adding that CB ETH can be sold or sent off platform, while ETH2 will remain locked up until a future protocol upgrade. So kind of continuing the theme there for Coinbase, really highlighting their staking platforms and their staking offers through their product there, Coinbase. Wrapping functionally will be rolled out to eligible users progressively throughout the day, so presumably talking about today, but then also trading of the CB ETH to USD pair will launch in phases with support for CB ETH restricted in some jurisdictions. So it won't be available throughout the entire world where Coinbase is available, but that will be rolling out presumably later on in the future for everyone, where their jurisdictions will legalize it. But but this is to highlight kind of Coinbase going on the offense, as for some time now, the focus they have been the focus of a probe of U.S. regulators for allegedly listing unregistered securities and insider trading. But I will note that also Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world, is also under investigation for similar charges. So it's really not just Coinbase, but also some of the larger names out there as well. And our last story here, as we transition into introducing Kelly, we're going to be talking about some on-chain, some articles that have come up that highlight some really interesting points on the on-chain front. Bitcoin will exit extreme bear market once this indicator flashes. And there's a nice little bear there for you, standing by our Bitcoins. The long-term hodler supply in loss is currently around historical highs, as only 4% of all trading history has shown greater BTC-denominated losses. Such a high percentage of long-term supply in loss suggests the market is in a deep bear market and will only reverse when the percentage of supply in loss decreases. And there is a chart here of this, and we will take, so you can see right here, we're reaching the highs of the Bitcoin long-term holders supply in loss. And we're going to take that and transition out of the market pulse and into our discussion, presumably on on-chain and technical analysis with myself, Tim, and Kelly, and a little bit of Smay too. So, Tim, you want to go ahead and kick that off for us, or do we want to go ahead and get Kelly's impression on this?
Yeah, we'll jump on that in a second. We're gonna talk about it with Kelly actually, because he's the one who I think will be able to give us a really good take on that. I'm gonna show you guys some things real quick before we bring Kelly on with technical analysis, the things that I'm seeing, and then I'm gonna get Kelly's take on it. Super excited to have him on the show, by the way. I wanted to really quickly give a shout out, because we always do the green names, but I want to shout out some of those blue names as well. Our moderators. If you guys love our moderators, hit a 1 in chat and say thank you to them. Matt C, absolutely the GOAT. Shannon Sharp in here. She's put in work today. She is fantastic. Thank you so much, Shannon. Mike Markle, always fantastic. We got people that here, our intern Maddie, which is definitely not Hi Zach's sister, Maddie Fletcher. I think this is her last week though. I think her internship is ending and she's going on a mission trip actually. So blessings to Maddie, but thank you for everything you've done. And of course, our customer service rep, Anthony Allen, you are the best. Thank you so much, all of our blue names. And I forgot, Kelly's still a mod too, so shout out to Kelly, and we're gonna bring him on here in just a second. We could not be doing this show without you guys, so thank you so much. Let's jump over to my chart here real quickly. Go ahead and go to my screen here, Smay. There were some question marks about the level of resistance on Bitcoin. I'm down here on the hourly chart. I don't need my RSI for this, so I can turn that off. There's a couple different lines we were looking at and saying, hey, what's the significant level of resistance here? The first one was potentially you could make an argument based off of where candles were closing the flat level that we were going to be in an ascending triangle with the flat tops. And we did break through this yesterday, but then we fell back down below it, kind of making that line not necessarily the one that's very significant. The other question was, okay, are we in a symmetrical triangle pattern, which could have been considered a bear pennant, in which case you had these wicks descending, but we broke through that, broke back through it, came back down, now it's using resistance. I'm not going to say this line is irrelevant, but I don't think it's as strong as what we're currently looking at. The one that we talked about the other day that does look like it's the strongest argument to say this is the level to watch is this flag, this channel, and of course when we zoom out, this is forming at the moment a bear flag, but it's getting pretty wide, so let's keep an eye on this to see if this outplays being considered a bear flag, similar to what we did here on a longer time frame. But keep your eyes on this chart. We continuously are hitting our heads on that ascending level of resistance. We got to keep our eyes on what's happening there. The last thing I want to look at on the Dixie, this is something you guys should keep your eyes on, because Bitcoin and crypto will follow and kind of work inversely to what we see happening over on Dixie. And after rejecting and setting our double top, this is the peak we hit back here in July, on July 14th, we double topped and now we're heading back down. Just keep your eyes on what's happening, because this could easily end up becoming a cup and handle formation where we've already set our cup and we have a nice flat rim. Could we potentially be working right now to set our handle? Keep your eyes on that. The levels of at this point that we're looking at for support and resistance are starting to form a falling wedge. Now, we only have 2 touches, so I can't give too much weight to the resistance level. We do have 3 on the support line. Let's watch the next resistance. We're working right now at this Fibonacci level right here at 108.64. Will we break through that and bounce off of this resistance once again, which would solidify and kind of give a lot more credit to that descending level of resistance forming right there. Keep your eyes there. We do have the 3 touches, 1, 2, 3 on the support. So this line, until it is broken, keep your eyes on that one as well. That is what I want to start. I could go a lot more into technical analysis. You guys know it. I love me some T. I love the charts. But you know who also is fantastic at charts and it's going to help us break down some of these things using on-chain metrics is Kellam. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Kelly, what is up, my friend? How are you doing?
Well, I'm happy to say that I'm here for the first time on Coffee and Crypto, the show, because I, of course, have been a brother. I've been part of the team at the Crypto Jebb for a long time, and there's been some changes. I just want to shout out everybody that's still here watching, and I really want to encourage not only the Coffee and Crypto family there behind the scenes, but everybody that's watching. Nothing has changed in terms of the value that is being given out, and the amount of effort and energy that's really just focused on how do we give the most value to the viewers. And I'm so happy, as many of you may have known by now, there's a lot of changes going on around the entire space. But one of the things that I find so awesome is with many of these major channels like Cryptos R Us, the BitBoy, Coffee and Crypto, Altcoin Daily, there's no animosity between anybody. No. Everybody is here to work together and help each other. So I've kind of free agented it a little bit. I'm kind of working in a couple of different sectors now, but you're still going to be seeing me here on Coffee and Crypto. And I'm happy to still tune in on the Discord for any of you Club DeFi people and give some thoughts as well, because we're all one big family. Sometimes we just get paid somewhere else and other, but we're all working together. And I just want to make that clear to everybody to start.
Yeah. First of all, that set, I'm loving the set and it's looking familiar. That is Frankie Candle's set, correct?
I had to jack it from him. I said, hey man, I got to be on the stream tomorrow. My office upstairs is in a giant game room that has all these gaming computers, pinball machines and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think this is going to be conducive to streaming. So Frankie's like, no, come on down. You set up on my set. So here I am. So we can just jump right on into it.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to talk about the set here just a little bit more before we jump in, because I love that set. We almost went with a wooden set as well, but when Frankie went wooden, we're like, hey, we're not going to copy Frankie. We're going to let him have that wooden set. He'll be that guy.
Let me point something out. I came to sit down here, and it made me feel broke as I could be, because the first thing I noticed was this absolute stack of $100 bills. And then I realized this is a set prop. So I'm not as broke as I thought. This is just a prop, but it does, I'm not home in New York right now, so I don't have my money tree. So I'll use the money fan. There we go. Fake. But
very nice.
What we can do and what we're all here for is to get, to share what we're seeing and help every one of you basically work through the same sort of process, so you can create your own process, so you can look at these charts and look at these data points that are available and try to come up with a very broad and robust sort of view on the market so that you can make the best decision. So I'll just jump right in, because you were mentioning the Dixie. So I'll start there and then we'll work backwards to the on-chain. So I'm going to share my screen right here, and I apologize. I'm on a single screen here, so it's really hard to see what's going on. I believe this is it. So we're going to start right here on the Dixie. And you mentioned how you drew it. People draw things slightly differently. For effect, this is the same process. But what I noticed, and I'm surprised you didn't point out, is this massive bearish divergence that we have going on the RSI on the DXY. Not only on this larger time frame here, back from April, but also even a stronger one on the most recent two, basically double tops. Now, some people will argue, but why would you be using the Dixie on RSI on the Dixie? Why would you be looking at divergences? Well, at the end of the day, all these indicators are showing us is changing psychology about that asset or that asset class. And the Dixie is so important, or the DXY, everybody calls it something different. It's so important because it gauges where the market is. Are they putting money into assets to invest, or are they taking them out into what they think, which is so wrong, the safe haven of cash and fiat? Now, the reason why this is so important right now, when we're looking at everything going on with geopolitics, TA on Bitcoin, when you're looking at traditional markets, is because it's not just an effect of money coming out of assets into the dollar. You also have to understand that this has huge implications for global markets and trade, because when the DXY, when the value of the dollar starts to shoot up, when all of the other currencies are basically dropping, which is part of the reason why the value of the dollar is going up, then it also puts a huge stress on the global economies of the world because they have a much harder time servicing their own debts when the dollar is expensive because it's a world reserve currency. So all these things, they really work in concert with each other. And that's why, although this is Bitcoin and crypto focused channel, we have to look at traditional markets. We have to look at the dollar index because it really helps us get a gauge on what's going on globally and with all assets. So with that being said, we do have bearish divergence on the DXY. So that in correlation with what's going on with the chart patterns, I am looking for maybe I'm hoping, I don't know, but I am looking for with this sort of double top scenario. And if you went through the technical analysis course in Club DeFi, you will know that this is potentially very basically bearish reversal into start of a downtrend. It's not guaranteed, but it's likely, especially with this bearish divergence. And we have the Jackson Hole Summit that's I think happening tomorrow with Chairman Powell, and they're going to be talking about all this stuff, not just inflation, but this dollar just shooting through the roof. And that's also in combination with you can see here looking at the U.S. oil. The crude oil, I'm sorry. We have this massive drop that just dropped basically through the floor here. And everybody's saying oil's coming down. Well, we've already had 11% push up on oil, so there's a lot of uncertainty going on in markets right now. Now, jumping into to on-chain data, one of the things I wanted to show, and I shared this in a tweet about 2 weeks ago. I don't know where it's at, but it's these levels right here are the ones I'm predominantly looking at. And I'm going to zoom down so you can see this a bit more clearly. These three lines right here, these oscillators on this chart, these lines are basically, this is a short-term holder cost basis, this light pink one. This very, very light pink or light orange is a 200-week moving average. And then this green line right here is the realized price. Now we are just fighting in this region, and when the price is below the short-term holder cost basis, it's a very, very clear downtrend. However, when you finally break through the short-term holder cost basis, I don't know where this chart is. I had so many charts open. When you break below the short-term holder cost basis, it's just a very clear signal that you are in a bearish trend. And you can see that right here, you break through it and bear trend all the way down. But once you break through it to the upside, it ends up being a very solid support for the entire uptrend. Now, I'm not saying this is a signal once we break it that it's an uptrend, but what I'm really trying to specify here and really break down is the fact that we are still below it. So we have a lot of work to do. We can't even discuss bullish potential until we reclaim the short-term holder cost basis and we reclaim this level right here. See that this sort of level, and I'll show you on the chart, this level right here, which is basically the macro support for this major double top we have here, this M formation that we had from the first peak at 64,000 and the secondary peak at 69,000. And what I've done here is we're looking, basically created spider lines from these points here on the fulcrum of this point, and I zoomed that in here. Now I got to put this on auto so you can see without it blown up because there's so much data on this chart. These lines that you're seeing were those spider lines, and we have interacted with these so incredibly that it's not even funny. And we've broken down below that 200-week moving average. We broke below that realized price level, and we're nowhere near the short-term holder cost basis, which is up here. So I am still looking for a very likely push down if we do fall down to this level here, 19.3 and 18.3. If we do go up from here, these are all the levels that I'd be watching, which are incredibly important levels, the 21.7, 22.9, and then this midterm golden retrace, this golden pocket at 25,000. I do want to point out, this isn't on chain. This is more like in the order books. There's about $5 billion below us, basically long liquidations. If it were to drop down to, I think around 17.5, the region is all below us, but there's over $90 billion in short liquidations that are above us around between the 25 to 28K level. So if we're asking ourselves, where is the market going to be pushed? If the market makers tend to push towards liquidity, as bearish as everything is, I do think that there's a very high likelihood that we get pushed up towards that liquidity, because market makers, when they're making big moves, they want to move the markets towards where there's obvious liquidity in the market. And the question there will be, will the short squeezes that happen there, getting liquidated, having to buy longs, will that Will that give us enough momentum to kick off a bull market? I don't know, because we still have a lot of work ahead of us to work through. But the last thing I want to show you is another on-chain metric from Plan C, and then also directly in Glassnode. And that is, we've already had mass sort of peak capitulation to the same levels, actually above. This is January 2019, April of 2020, March, April 2020. This was a COVID crash right here. This was a capitulation from 2018 down, and we had a higher capitulation, basically Bitcoin denominated realized losses here in this period right here. This is right about when Elon Musk and Tesla sold, while we also had Voyager collapse. We also had Three Arrows Capital. I mean, all the things, all the entire downward pressure. To be honest, with everything that's happened, with all of this downward pressure, in addition, remember, in addition to inflation and geopolitical nonsense and economic just huge bearish sort of canopy over us, I am incredibly thrilled that we've still held above the previous all-time high at $19,000. Even if we fall down to 14, I'm a buyer anywhere in this region, all the way down from here, because we are in a clear asymmetrical risk buy zone. And so I'm just excited about everything with where the market is.
Come on, Kelly. How about that? If that whole spiel that he just gave was not enough to make you smash the like button, I don't know what it is. That is the brain of Kelly Kellam. I'll tell you what right now. I always gain so much from Kelly, but I also get this image in my head. Share my screen, Smay, for just a second. Every time I see a Kelly chart, this is the image that I get in my brain. And this is not, that is how dedicated he is to the field. This is Kelly behind the scenes in real life.
I love it.
I have so many questions for you, Kelly, as we kind of start to extrapolate this stuff, because you are the guy I now look to when I'm thinking of the on-chain stuff, the things that you have taught me about on-chain metrics and what to look for and what not to look for, and how to don't go overboard and read too much into it, but at the same time utilize that information wisely. There are a couple of things that I have questions about that I wanted to ask you on. So the first one is, I remember we were talking here about a month and a half ago. I don't know. It was back around July 13th, right before the news broke about Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, of course, at that time, on-chain wise, was one of the lowest weak-handed holding coins in the space. And I've talked about this on the show a lot, so anyone who watches all of our content, you guys are like, oh, here goes Tim again about the on-chain metrics of Ethereum. And that's great. You know, I want to set the stage because I want to hear what you have to think about Ethereum now. Because on July 13th, July 14th, that area, that's when we got the announcement that we officially had the date for ETH 2.0. And we went from having a ridiculously low number of weak hands in the space to hitting an all-time high of active wallets, yet the price only increased to 2,000, which when you put the logic steps and you add 1 + 1, that equals 2. 2 is that right now Ethereum has a massive amount of weak hands in the space, a lot of new people in the space that have not been holding for 12 months or longer. I wanted to get your take on what you make of that. And then I have another chart I want to show you guys and look at and get your take on, Kelly, about Bitcoin that we mentioned a little bit in our market pulse. But let's just start right there with Ethereum, because I know a lot of people are very interested in this. From your perspective of charts and on-chain analysis, what are you thinking right now about Ethereum? Is this strength for Ethereum that we're going to continue to the upside, or do you think Ethereum has a cooling off period that Bitcoin maybe does not?
Well, I'll show you I'll show you a chart, and then I'll also show you an on-chain metric here. Here's a chart from somebody that I love following on Twitter, and this is Mustache, or El Crypto Prof. And if you look at this, this is an Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And this is just basically a setup all the way back to 2015, 2016. And we're repeating a similar sort of pattern of this, basically breaking through reaccumulation and then sort of breaking back down. And so what's happening right here, this is, basically distribution, reaccumulation. But here we're actually setting up quite well for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, as it relates to, in relationship to Bitcoin, push up quite strong. Now, when we look at the on-chain metrics, this is a number of addresses with the balance of greater than or equal to 32 Ethereum. And we had a clear sell-off here. And this is one of the reasons, and it's in the on-chain course that we did there in Club DeFi. This is one of the reasons why I like looking at on-chain metrics, because we can look at stuff like this, like entity adjusted dormancy flow and MVRV and all this nuanced stuff, exchange net flow. But what I like looking at is when you start seeing larger wallets or wallets of particular sizes selling off, people that have been holders selling off. You can tend to gauge that's not only using MACD and RSI and chart patterns, but when you're seeing larger holders or people that have accumulated over time selling off while the market's going up, that's signaling they're selling. These types of people they're very well accustomed and adept at trading the market, and so they sell into the positive price action. So they're and these are typically longer term holders. They sell into this bullish price action, this bullish strength, and what happens as they're selling, that means short-term holders are buying. So what happens is, see, as we have these little dips, it's bought back up, bought back up, bought back up, bought back up. But what happens is all these start to sell. And then what happens is you have more and more short-term holders, weak hands. And then when you get a small sell-off, it turns into a cascade. And then it just keeps doing that. Mm-hmm. But we've basically rounded out here in terms of the number of addresses with more than 32 ETH. People are, this is growing quite dramatically. Over the course of time between was this May and here, this has increased from 119,000 from 100,000. So almost 20% increase in these stronger. I don't even call them large wallets because it's only 32 ETH, but basically buying into the weakness, and you're getting these longer term holders buying up this weakness right here. So I'm feeling quite confident about Ethereum. We're not having this is an exchange net position change. Coins going onto exchange, basically likely preparing to sell, or coming off of exchange, likely to hold. And if we zoom in on this, we had some capitulation here, but even with all this coins coming onto exchange, there wasn't really a sell-off. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now, but we're still having people, coming off of exchange. So I'm very, very bullish on Ethereum right now. Going into the merge, one of the things I want to point out is, they had the ETH bounty that they're supplying for hackers, or offering to hackers if they identify any bugs. And this is, I really want to reemphasize this, because the same thing happened with Vassal, where they had a test net, and then people started getting a little, up in arms about the fact that there was an issue that was found on the test net. And my question is, why the heck are you mad that a company or a protocol or any of these crypto businesses or decentralized, whatever it is, the developers, as they're rolling out these massive changes to their network protocols, they're doing what they should be doing, which is test nets, offering money for people to try and break it while it hasn't been fully gone on mainnet yet. You want these things to happen because it basically, they're doing everything in their power to prevent what a Luna collapse like before. They're trying to figure out all these bugs, and they're trying to, and I just want to say, long-term is the best way. If you're going to trade, have your risk management in place, have your stops in place. And if it does drop, we're still in an asymmetrical, bullish sort of narrative in terms of the long-term play. So if it does drop, I'm just increasing my DCA sort of percentages on both Bitcoin and Ethereum going into the next month, because in the long term, if it drops another 15%, it doesn't matter to me, but I'd rather have skin in the game. Whenever this rocket takes off, it's going to fly.
Yeah, that's really good. And I hadn't seen those charts you were just showing. So, before we move on from Ethereum, do you have any thoughts about the chart? Because I don't have it on me right here, but the chart that showed that when we peaked up to 2000, we were sitting at an all-time high of active wallets on Ethereum. Do you happen to have that chart by any chance, or what would your thoughts be about that chart?
Let me pull that up right now. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay. Active.
While he's pulling that up, guys, make sure smash that like button if you are loving this information. Kelly is killing it today. So smash the like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Absolutely. So you're talking about, what date were you talking about?
Well, so the day that I saw the chart was right after we hit 2,000 on Ethereum. So I saw it definitely on Twitter. There was a post about how we had hit an all-time high of wallets, and it was actually a significant point. Like, it wasn't like we just barely beat all-time high. We had a pretty good difference between the last time we hit all-time high.
Okay, here we go. I got you right here. I think this is the chart you're talking about. For any of you that aren't into on-chain, I will tell you right now, once you get focus, especially like even in Club DeFi, we break down a number of charts. There are so many different varieties of charts and more that get created daily. So just isolate and concentrate on ones you can master first and then expand and try to go through them. But this is, I believe, the chart you're talking about. And this is the number of active addresses. And yeah, this was all-time high here. However, prior to what you're talking about. And then we had this massive spike. I'm going to even smooth this out just a little bit. Can't do that because we won't see it. We have this massive spike right here, which is right about when we hit $2,000, and the huge number of active addresses. Now, if we look back, like basically how long how old the coins are since they've last been active, we have the larger sort of coins, longer term holding, 2 year, 3 year. This is still coming down. We had a bit of a peak here as people were selling, becoming active, selling into the strength of the bull market, and then you have capitulation where right here we have a lot of people selling, but then now it's starting those dates are starting to accrue again, and we're starting to see a little bit more. I don't want to say strength, but stability come back in on that side. Now, on the 1 to 3 month, we're still getting a lot of sort of just unclear sort of signals on these short-term holders. But I can tell you right now, all signals that you get from short-term holders are going to be unclear because it's an ever-changing sort of dynamic. Sometimes you have a long-term minded holder buying, in the moment they buy, they're still technically considered a short-term holder until they are holding for 155 days or more, or if they have an identified wallet that shows that everything that they've bought over time, they're long-term holders. So it gets a little bit more skeptical when you are looking at stuff like short-term holders. But the markets are just unclear as a broad base right now because of everything going on, as we talked about. As it goes, I know everybody's wondering about the merge. Is it going to go up into the merge? Is it going to pump like really hard? Well, it likely will push somewhat up into the merge, but it's going to be truncated or suppressed a bit by this mass sort of downward pressure just on the instability and concern in the market. There's skepticism. Even if we started getting a strong bullish push, I would have my sell orders in place for your risk management. If you're a long-term holder, leave it. If you're trading, if you're trying to swing trade, I would have my take profits laddered and in place because of the skepticism and the lack of confidence in the space from all the cascading sort of crypto contagion of all the collapses that happened in June, and April, May, and June. I would just be very focused on my risk management, any sort of trade you're making. If you're DCAing, keep it up and just look long-term.
Gotcha. That's awesome, Kelly. Thank you so much. But let's move on to there was a story we talked about a little bit in Market Pulse. So go to my screen here, and I want to set this up and get Kelly's take on it. So there was an article over here on You Today that Tshroom mentioned, and the title of this is "Bitcoin Will Exit Extreme Bear Market Once This Indicator Flashes." So this is a lot we're talking about. There's a lot of on-chain metrics that really help us know, hey, when is the bull market finally going to resume? When is this bear market going to be over? When is it going to resume? And so what they referenced in this article is a Twitter post by Glassnode itself. So I'm assuming, Kelly, that you've seen this because I know how much you follow there. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at long-term holder supply being in loss. And what you're seeing is what this chart is kind of showing is that you got these flashes where it'll flash blue, and that'll be the bottom of the bear market, and then you will see the bull market resume. And of course, with our little pandemic we had back in 2020, with a very small sliver, most of these are a little fatter before they get going. But what the article is kind of getting at is we are getting very, very, very close to where we probably should be seeing this flash, where the long-term holder supply in loss is greater than the current level. What are your thoughts about this chart? First of all, have you seen this chart before? And what are your thoughts in all of the research you've done about the validity of this chart?
Well, I've seen these. I follow Glassnode they have a great YouTube channel as well, where about once a week or so they put really excellent. They basically packaged together a number of different on-chain metrics to really paint a very clear picture of what's going on in the market. And some stuff, even if you're a member, you don't have access to some of those charts because they're still workshopping them. They call it in there what they call the engine room of stuff that they're working on. And in that particular chart, I'm not sure if that necessarily on the on-chain chart itself flashes blue. I think it was highlighted,
highlighting it,
and it's more so. I think about if you look at the arc of when the growth in long-term holder supply and loss sort of rolls over. And that loss is basically the price is stabilized, accumulation is starting to come back in, and because there's strength in accumulation, there's not volatile movement to the downside, and the volatile movement to the downside isn't happening as much anymore because at that point you've exhausted the short-term holders, and so there's nobody else willing to sell. And so when that happens, any move down, you have long-term holders that are any move down, long-term holders are the majority of the market. Therefore, small moves down, they're not selling. So you don't get big, massive volatile swings to the downside. But also with those moves to the downside, you get a lot of strength coming into the market from the long-term holders, strong hand-minded people buying any of that volatility to the downside. And that's what gives the strength. That's where that signal's flashing when those peaks, if you pull the chart back up, it's when those peaks start to roll over. The price is basically shown that it's, I don't want to say hit a floor because you never know a floor is there until sometimes a month or two afterwards. But if you're looking at the long-term holder to short-term holder ratios, it's a very, very clear example of when the short-term holders are exhausted. Those are some of the best times to buy, and that's why we look at things like the reserve risk and the NVRV and those sorts of charts, because they give you a good, clear example of it paints a good picture of what the underlying sort of market of holders is and what their activity is. And so, like I said, right now we're in a very clear asymmetric bullish risk buy opportunity. But I do want to point out, with all the on-chain metrics that people read, one of a huge lesson that myself, Plan C, everybody that I've talked to, on my weekly Twitter Spaces, Crypto Answered, we talk about this regularly. We were all weighing a lot of the metrics and the indicators that we were looking at based on, well, Bitcoin has always done this or it has never done this. And, some people have, but a lot of people were failing to take the context of the greater traditional market and global economic ecosystem into the context of reading these charts, because we've also never been in a quantitative tightening cycle while the market is basically having to endure through that. So although we've been in very clear buy sort of setups based on the history of Bitcoin, we are also in a different sort of context of global markets that, although historically we're in a very clear buy zone, I still think there is a possibility for us to have a bull rally, but I would be very concerned on the confidence of that rally, and there'd be a lot of profits being taken. So I do think there's still a high likelihood that we at least test 17.5, if not have a wick down to 14, because of the weakness of confidence and the weakness of global markets that can't be weighed into on-chain yet, because we're only now having that sort of cycle that we're dealing with that we can read later after we've been in this position before.
Wow. Man, it is always so good to have you on here, Kelly. Guys, give it up for Kelly. Smash that like button for him. That is just fantastic stuff. Kelly, I'm so glad I know you. By the way,
I miss you guys.
Dude,
and I haven't heard the song in office so long. Kelly Kellam.
Yeah.
Kelly Kellam.
I'll perform a rendition. You ready? Kelly Kellam.
Kelly.
Kelly Kellam. Kelly Kellam.
Kelly.
Kelly Kellam.
Gosh.
Kelly Kellam.
In case you guys are wondering what he's
singing.
talking about, so every single morning that when Kelly was on the show with us, then he was like, he'd be down here and we'd be waiting on him. We would be singing that song as he would like walk in the office. That was his little theme song. It is, yeah, dude. I miss you so much, man. For anyone who's wondering, Kelly
He gives good hugs.
Kelly is still family here. We are so happy for him with the opportunity he's having to work with the Bit Squad over there up in Atlanta. That's why he's in Atlanta right now. He was a contractor for us. A lot of people thought he was an employee, and we I mean, in our eyes, he was one of us. But man, I'm so excited for the opportunity he has to provide for him and his beautiful wife and work with the Bit Squad. He's not going to not be over here on Coffee and Crypto. He helped us build Club DeFi. He is family still here. So if anyone's wondering, was there like some sort of fallout between the Coffee and Crypto crew and Kelly? Absolutely not. The opposite.
No, we love each other.
Well,
man.
I do have a bone to pick with him. He doesn't give me hugs anymore because he's far away. So, there was a falling out because he left me. So, that's why.
Well,
deeper conspiracy.
I'm always here for you. We can late night Zoom. I have a Bitcoin negligee I could throw on.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, that derailed.
But I love you guys, and I want to say thank you guys for having me on, and I thank you for welcoming me into your family. The Crypto Jebb and now Coffee and Crypto family. And just like Tim said, we're still family. I'm here working here with Bit Boy and the Bit Squad. And like I said at the beginning of the show, we're all these top sort of content channels that are positive influences on the space. We all work together. We all, so I'm going to be having Tim on my Crypto Answer show. I'll be on here anytime they want me, and I'm honored to come on whenever you guys will have me. We're all going to be cross-pollinating here, so it's big love and appreciation and much thanks.
Absolutely.
Much thanks. I can speak. Many thanks.
Go follow him right now on Twitter at Kelly Kellam. What did I say?
I'm telling him now. I'm
right.
reinforcing
I thought you corrected me. At Kelly Kellam. Don't fall for the bots. By the way, those bots are out there for all of us.
Too many of them. I still don't have a bot, by the way. I haven't found one.
We'll get you some bots.
No, I don't need a bot. I don't need a bot. It's fine.
Go follow Kelly because he has a show, Crypto Answered on Twitter. It is phenomenal. I've been on before, but I listen to them whenever I can. You don't want to miss those. And those are traditionally on Thursday nights, but he does a great job making sure you guys know when he can't do those shows, when he's moving them, yada, yada, yada. And look forward to... Go ahead. Sorry,
we won't be on today because we did it yesterday. I'm flying home today, but we will be on next week, midday Thursday. So thank you for the shout out.
Follow him there. And I'm looking forward to the other content he's going to be creating because he is going to be picking up a lot of stuff and doing a lot more. He'll be on this channel. He'll be on BitBoy's channel. I'm still, I don't know if that's in the plans for you, but I'm still rooting for a Kelly Kellam channel. I would subscribe in an instant. So let us know, Kelly, what happens with that.
Maybe something's brewing.
Come on. Well, guys, thank you so much, Kelly, for being here. We'll see you next time. We're going to keep going here a little bit longer, but love you, Kelly.
Love you too, man. I got to run because I got to run to a meeting. Love the whole Coffee and Crypto crew, Jedi Knights, the younglings, everybody. I'll see you on another stream.
Adios.
Wow. Great stuff. I love Kelly so much. He is the best. No, it's really interesting. You even get to hear his take on what is happening in the markets. I mean, ultimately, with that on-chain data, I loved how he kind of summed it up there at the end. What we're really watching for, what we're looking for, is to know when weekends are out of the space, when those long-term holders are sitting at pretty much their max pain, and then we'll go back up. We've talked about this before. Go to my screen here, and I'm going to do a little bit of TA on Bitcoin and kind of show you guys a scenario of which that could happen. I've talked about this on the volume aspect. We had a lot of volume coming on this dip, but we came down to 17.6, and that's what Kelly was kind of talking about. He's like, I think we can get back down there. Well, guess why we think we can get back down there? Because this was a max pain point at the time, in which case the institutions, the whales, they realized that this is a great spot to buy to get more supply. Could it go lower? It absolutely could. But we do know that right now, when we hit that low with that high of volume, the price can be taken back down there. Get some weak hands out of the space, because while there might not be a whole heck of a lot, there definitely are still some weak hands and some ones that were created in this whole rally here. So potentially watch for us to get back down closer to that 19,000 and potentially as low as maybe wicks again down towards 17.6 or 17.5 before we actually start to see, hey, do we have the strong hands in place to make this the firm bottom, or do we create new weak hands and do we go lower? That's what we're going to keep our eyes on. But to answer the question of this entire video, we will see the bull market come back when we see those long-term holders kind of in that max pain, and it's time. We got the weak hands out of the space, and it's time to get that spring, and we're going to move back up. Watch for that happening within the next, I would say probably within at least the next 6 months, but we will keep you guys posted on that. Wow.
Tim.
I gotta throw it to you because we have another sponsor for the show. So Smay, I'm gonna throw it to you. What is our second
well, that's
sponsor
not
for the
why
show?
I was interrupting.
Well, you have a
for.
couple of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, whoa. I have an ad, and this would actually, I didn't really have an ad, but I will go ahead and hit you with one because you thought I didn't have one. I do. Guys, you know what's kind of cold?
Ice cream.
Wallets.
Tim, that's exactly right.
I knew it.
Wallets can be cold, and actually we prefer our wallets cold here because that is the #1 way to secure your cryptocurrency, guys. I'm telling you, this is a basic, fundamental principle of being a crypto DeFi investor. Actually, I love this metric that you just looked at about kicking off the bull market. Tim, tell me, what percentage of those people, those long-term holders, keep their money off exchange?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, just work with me. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot of
94%.
Okay, well, so a lot, guys, a lot. So that's the point. Is to be a good DeFi investor, you have to actually DeFi. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Ledger link in the description. We love ledgers. That is our go-to cold wallet. Get a cold wallet today. But also, you know what I'd like to do, Tim?
What is that?
I'd like to read some super chats.
I would love to read that was the next thing up
Before
there.
you do, why do I feel like every time it's Smay's turn to read an ad, our whole concept for it is Smay's going to do the ad and we're going to do the opposite to play along with the ad.
Because I actually have no idea where he's going with the ad. I'm being genuine. If you guys think we planned my interactions, no, I'm at the whim of Smay.
Hey, I'm an agent of chaos, and that's what my role on the show is to be. But anyways, what I would like to do, you know what is the key to my heart? Dang it, I messed up my
chocolate.
line. No, hold on, let me restart. You know what else could kick off a bull market in my heart, Tim?
What could kick off a bull market in your heart?
These super chats. All right, so I'm gonna read some super chats. So we have Carbs for Days says, "Green like money, gold like honey." What do you have to say about that, Tim?
Love it.
Good. All right, next we have from Elliot Locke says, "Off topic, still questions in chat about Jebb. So we in chat have informed them that he and the fam are off hunting wild, vicious animals, orcas, alligators, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. What do you have to say about that?"
False, but I like it. You know, that's one way.
It's creative.
You know, there's a video on. If you guys go to our homepage, you guys will see the video. But yeah, no, I still see some questions. I'm anticipating we're gonna get questions a lot. Especially, guess what? Another thing's gonna happen when the bull market comes back. A lot of subscribers who just kind of said, "I don't want to listen to bad news right now," kind of tuned out of crypto YouTube. They're gonna come back and they're gonna be like, "Where the heck is Jebb?" And we'll have to answer it all over again. But Jebb, he needed to take a step away with. I mean, you guys saw the video. I mean, we haven't really talked about this. I mean, Jebb lost. I think somewhere around 50 pounds. Not good weight. I mean, with stress and with health and with stuff going on with family, he was in a place where he needed to step away, focus on his health. It's not just his health, his family's health. So he's going to really be focusing on them. And he's built such a great community and team here. He literally built something so that he could have the opportunity to do what he needs to do to get healthy. So we love him. Continue to, pray for him, shout out him. I think he pays attention. I don't think he disappeared. I think he tries as best he can to stay in touch with what's happening. But we talked with him, we prayed through it, and we decided, hey, it'd be best for him first and foremost, and for the community if he just at least for a while stepped away from the channel. So
Yep. All right, so we have another one here from NMCT says, "Couldn't the government print unlimited money and forgive all debt without any real repercussions? Like, what other economy is remotely as strong as the U.S.? I'm starting to see why the Dixie is so high."
I want to read that again. Read the details of that one again.
Okay. I will read it again.
Thank you.
"Couldn't the government print unlimited money and forgive debt without any real repercussion? Like, what other economy is remotely as strong as the U.S.? I'm starting to see why the Dixie is so high."
I mean, so here's what would happen. Right now we focus on, those of us who live in the United States, we're focusing on the U.S. dollar inflation, and we don't like that. The rest of the world is going crazy. They're actually getting inflated even higher than the United States, the U.S. dollar. So when the U.S. dollar goes through such turmoil like what it's going through right now with the inflation, it actually has a lot of impact on the rest of the world. And this is part of the problem of not having solid backed money. This is when we took money off the gold standard and we have no solid backing and we just have inflationary money that any government or any centralized system can print whenever they want, thinking, well, we'll just keep comparing it to each other. No, that's not how it works. The way we set up our economy, the world economy, when the United States economy starts to suffer,
That's right.
other economies start to suffer, and vice versa. I mean, right, like with Europe, all this stuff that is happening between Ukraine and Russia right now, and Europe is just being obliterated. That trickles to the United States. We weren't involved in the war. We're not. I know that we've sent like ammunition and we've sent supplies, but because of what is happening in the economy of Europe, that's affecting the economy of the United States. This is the problem with taking money off of solid, hard money like gold or what Bitcoin could be. And this is the exact reason why Bitcoin is gonna thrive and is gonna be the future, is because one way or another, whether we use Satoshis directly or whether we back some sort of currency like a stable coin or something else, it will get back to being backed by Bitcoin, because that is what is the best economic sense. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it will happen, and Bitcoin is the answer to that solution. So
what I will say,
I hear what you're saying, but I think that it would be very disastrous to just start printing money to pay off debt.
What I will say is not even printing money to pay off that. So me and my buddies, we started an investment club at a college in our town that we grew up in. And one theory that we had, because the debt was just crazy then, and it's even crazier now. One theory we had is the only way we get out of this is that Congress actually passes a bill that saying we will not pay off certain treasury notes, and meaning like we would actually just erase debt via law, via policy. And that is a potential way out, because we are the U.S., because we have the strongest military, and we're the reserve currency is the dollar, and our federal government, or our Federal Reserve Agency, is the arbiter of that dollar. So, I think it would be very, very extreme for something like that to happen, but it would be tantamount. Honestly, it'd be tantamount to an act of war, because so many countries are indebted to us. They would. Not indebted to us, we are indebted to them. They would probably gather together, ally together to try to, force us back into some kind of compensation to the debt that we owe them in some way or another. So, it's been talked about. It's not the first time that people have thought about that, but, those people were just some college students, and that's classic theory. But what I did want to talk about oil really quick before we leave. Do you think we have time?
We have one more super chat, and then we'll jump into oil really quickly after that super chat, and then we'll go.
Wow, we said that at the same time.
I don't know that I want to jump into oil, but we can jump into oil prices.
Don't jump into the oil, but jump into the oil, if you know what I mean.
I think I need to get my oil change on my car. Anyways, that reminded me. Anyway, so shout out for Club DeFi. Any good updates you guys can give us? Shout out to Kelly and his awesome info. Love all of you guys.
That was Elliot Locke again, right?
That was Elliot Locke.
Yeah. Shout out to Elliot Locke. What I saw earlier,
the hard hitting
Elliot Locke. He also gave. I think he gave gifts. He gifted 5 more memberships. So shout out to Elliot Locke. You are amazing. As far as updates on Club DeFi, so here's the thing. Club DeFi is running functionally. Now, the website is still broken. That has to do, we've kind of announced that a little bit. The team we were working with, something happened in the creation of it. There were some bugs that happened it's in beta phase. We thought in the crypto space, the whole thing was you in the beginning of something, you create bugs and then you have to fix it. That's kind of the rite of passage in the crypto space. But what we do have the option for anyone who's in it, we haven't been marketing it very strongly because we want to get everything fixed, but currently it's up and running. We got a lot of Club DeFi alumni already. People are there every single day. So we have a Discord channel that you can get, and it has access to all the links for all of our office hours where you guys get to come and ask me questions. I get to kind of hold your hand and walk you through. It's almost like having a one-on-one teaching, because usually there's about, somewhere between 6 to 10 people that join those. It's really, really cool. You don't want to miss those. They also we put the videos back on Teachable, at least short term, so that you still have access to all those videos. They are phenomenal videos. The best way to kind of think about it, anyone who went through CT2A, these videos are like CT2A 2.0. We made sure the information was even better. We shortened them up to where the average length of a video is about 5 minutes long. And it really, really is helpful. And anything that doesn't get answered in those videos, even though those are very detailed videos, you can just bring over to office hours and we answer it there. And instead of just teaching technical analysis, we also teach trading and we teach on-chain metrics. And that was why Kelly was so integral in helping us build that, is because he really helped us build the lesson planning for all of that information. So While we don't market it very much, you can still sign up for Club DeFi. And if you ever have any questions about more about it, email our support@cryptojebb.com. That email is changing soon, but if anyone who uses that, it will transition. It will become support@coffeeandcrypto.com. But email, and you can ask any questions you want. And Anthony is a phenomenal customer service rep, and he'll get you where you need to go. But that is the update on Club DeFi. It is running functionally. It's just not as pretty as we really want it to be, which is why we're keeping it in beta at this point.
All right, Tshroom, do you have the oil charts geared up and ready to go?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, so you can come over. I'm going to start on the daily, and I'm going to break down why this is important in a second. But I've drawn this line of resistance on oil price right around $95.25. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times that this support has been tapped. Sometimes it was resistance, and sometimes it was support. But over here, so this is where we are right now, and I'll go to the 4-hour to highlight this. We dipped, we climbed up to it, went over it, but we did not flip that support into resistance. So this bodes bullish for the equities market and for crypto because...
You mean put it in support? Could be used as resistance, what you're showing.
Yeah, we did not flip it from resistance to support.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and meaning oil traders, meaning people who want oil to go higher. This did not go as planned. So this is obviously.
I thought you were a crypto trader, not an oil trader.
Oh, Smay, great comment. Very productive and helpful. Well, but it does pose a good question, right? Why is oil relevant? Well, because oil has been, and energy has been the -- driver of inflation, as we talked about with Caleb Franzen yesterday. And energy is the -- driver of inflation. And so inflation is taken very strongly into consideration by the Fed. That's what their laser beam, and that's what's in their crosshairs right now. That's what they're using all their tools to try to fight. And so basically what I'm saying is this is actually, it's bearish for oil traders. It's bullish for the rest of the market, for crypto and for equities, because it gives Jerome Powell the impetus to say, hey, maybe we can actually go ahead and do 50 basis points versus 75 basis points and start to reverse our policy, because the price movement of oil, which is the main driver of inflation right now, is actually coming down. It just rejected that resistance, and it's coming down. It was not able to flip that resistance to support, so it's going to come down. If I'm Jerome, I'm seeing that, and I am thinking genuinely, this bodes well for the market. This bodes well for inflation, meaning it's going to come back down towards neutral rates in that 2% range that we want it in. So this is good. Ultimately, it's good, but this could turn around. I mean, right now, as you can see, I don't know if you're still on my screen, but it is kind of hovering around that 200-day simple moving average, and it could bounce off of that and continue to go higher. But it already has penetrated past that. It's now lower, trading lower through that, so it could potentially come down. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. It's kind of inception within an inception within an inception argument for crypto bullish or bearishness, but I think it's extremely important. I think it's honestly the bedrock of the market right now. That's what everything's trading off of, is the price of oil. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you so much, Tshroom. That was actually really, really helpful. So, guys, that is all we have for you in today's show. But a couple announcements. I got a busy day today, but you don't want to miss what I'm doing, because it's a lot of what you guys have been asking for a lot. As we are continuing to evolve this channel with a new name, new backgrounds, new sets, new content, and new focuses on what we're doing. Today, here, less than an hour, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go to my screen real quick. I'm going to be over on Cointelegraph hosting market talks with Charlie B. Trader. This is a guy who goes a lot into trading. His name's Charlie Burton, and you guys don't want to miss it. I'm going to be interviewing him and talking all about some great opportunities to be trading right now in the space. And then this afternoon, here on the Coffee and Crypto channel, I'm going to be doing a live interview at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time with Steven Corson. Now, a lot of people don't know that name, and he's not very big on YouTube, but he's actually a good friend of ours here at the Coffee and Crypto team, and he has a long history of investing in the stock market well before crypto was even a thing, that he's then taken that type type of information, and he's brought it to the crypto space. So if any of you are wondering, Tim, how do I handle my investments and how do I plan for long-term success with those investments? Like, how do I know how much to take profit? How do I know where to, how to diversify my portfolio well to set myself up for maximal gains? We're going to be discussing all of that this afternoon in a live format with Stephen Corson here at 3:30. Don't miss either of those two pieces of content. Guys, with that being said, that is all we have for you in this video, but we will see you in the next one. Peace.